Well done. You found a way to connect to the internet. Welcome to the QAA Podcast, episode 339. Trump keeps posting Q on Maine. As always, we are your hosts, Jake Rakitansky,
Julian Fields,
and Travis View. So, lots of stuff going on, so I thought we'd do like an old-fashioned episode. It's feeling
That's
like
right.
2019 again
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
I'm having a pre-COVID-19 nostalgia. So we're going to run through some segments in the news that have been breaking my brain, and then we're going to do a Jake story.
I wonder if the podcast is like sort of in like a Benjamin Button sort of scenario where, we've sort of plateaued and sort of like gotten as old, as mature as we're going to get, and now we're sort of on the back end and we'll slowly turn into QAnon babies over time.
I mean, we look older every day, dude. We look like shit.
As far as appearance goes, that's not true, but we'll see. If the audio quality slowly gets worse, then we'll know we are regressing, definitely.
Yeah, I kind of like this idea. I think this would be a fitting
I'm
end.
gonna start switching our mics out with like the slightly less good versions until we're just using a Yamaha like mixing, like a tiny plastic Yamaha mixing console with like SM58s.
Eventually, Travis will fall away, and it'll just be me and Julian arguing.
Yes, Travis will disappear,
Yeah,
and all the photos that we have with him, like it's like he was never in them. I wouldn't mind looking a little bit younger.
That would be such a fitting end. I think this is.
I don't want to be a baby.
We stumbled
again,
upon
though.
something. I do. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to crawl back into the crib. Give me a blankie. Give me a warm bottle of milk. I'm ready. Somebody come tuck me in.
Just dump me back into. Actually, no. I hated my teenage years too. There's nowhere to retreat to.
Yeah, there's nowhere to dump Julian.
Wait. Maybe if they make me like a zygote, like maybe if I become. Yeah, just a little cell or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that, actually. I'd love to be demolecularized or whatever the hell would lead to becoming a cell.
They should make you the fish that's like just crawling out of the ocean,
They should fucking nail me to a wooden board and have me sing and turn my head. Okay, yeah. It's a little preview of the fun we're going to have on this episode, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's really been interesting to me. So people online, they notice that Trump has been posting a lot more Q on like the main Truth Social account. There's also, in addition to that, there's been lots of wild speculations about Trump's health. And then also we have an update on the story of Romana Didulo up in Canada.
So when liberals do it, it's wild speculation. But when conservatives do it, it's conspiracy theorizing.
I use wild speculation when it's appropriate, even when conservatives do it. So I think I'll stand by my track record on that.
I would honestly, would you just do like 1 week where it's like the purge, or like just one episode where it's the purge, where you can wildly speculate, where like you're allowed. You know what I mean? You can
I like that
go
idea.
as crazy as possible.
I mean, I'm always allowed. I just don't find it interesting.
Damn it. I would love to like, there must be like the grain of a conspiracy theorist in Travis, and I would love to set that free.
Well,
I would love to see that in the fields running. Galloping.
Well, I mean, like, it's in there, and then that is like, there's like, elements of distrust, interest in researching things on my own. I mean,
that's right.
It's like, no, it's like the problem is that it's just only occasionally is fruitful and actually ends up with the kind of story that the conspiracists promised. So Trump has been posting a lot of QAnon memes on his Truth Social account. Now, this isn't 100% news because this is something he just does like just constantly, but this particular instance got a lot of attention. So he posted a meme that depicts Trump in front of this glowing earth with his hands raised in like a kind of reverential fashion. And there's a Q plus floating in his left hand. And of course, in QAnon lore, Q plus is the reference to the president.
This is so great because it's like clearly AI slop, but then the person who made it is still so proud of it that they've signed it above Trump's shoulder, like with their @ I mean, just truly old internet stuff, but with the new tools.
The QAnon people are so lucky that they're getting this kind of content from the president. You know what I mean? It's not like he's dog whistling anymore or, just sort of dancing around the subject. He's literally retweeting one of the most popular phrases. Nothing can stop what is coming. They're so lucky to see this kind of stuff and believe for a little while that their fantasies are actually becoming true. Unlike me, who knows that none of my fantasies about politics will ever come true.
Yeah, the other element of this meme is that it has text that says, "The world will soon understand. Nothing can stop what is coming." Another quote straight from a Q drop. Now, as Alex Kaplan over at Media Matters observed, this isn't even the first time that Trump has shared this particular meme.
Yes. Oh, my man's recycling.
Yeah, like he did it again, like about a year ago in August of last year.
You gotta freshen up the meme folder, brother.
It's like, it's the same stuff over and over again. And like the person who made this meme goes by the name Spiritual Street Fighter. Trump has amplified dozens of times. And, there's this push. Sometimes I see, other reporters talk about, I wish this got more mainstream coverage. Like Trump is amplifying this insane bullshit. But it's like, I don't know, how many times can you write that story? It's like, as if it feels so fucking tedious. I know that's what they want. They're at such an outrageous level constantly that it becomes almost boring to report on how outrageous it is. But I'm not sure what exactly the broad sort of like mainstream story is here.
What's up, friends? It's me, a Spiritual Street Fighter. I'm on GoFundMe to raise money for the operation I need on my bad knee.
So Alex Jones actually commented on Trump posting this meme, and Jones has this bullshit story that he was like in direct communication with the team who made Q, but like he wasn't 100% on board with the whole Q operation.
Trump writes his own tweets, but the true social stuff, a lot of the memes, he doesn't. So when I saw this today, the world will soon understand nothing can stop what is coming. And in his hand is Q+. Q+ is in the Q lore, starts in 2017, that's the Q leader, or Trump. So did Trump post this? I don't know. Is Trump saying he's Q? No. Q was created because when the WikiLeaks came out and people like myself and others posted it, and Drudge posted it about the spirit cooking, and John Podesta, there was a discussion, I wasn't in on it at that time, about how do we anonymously put all this stuff out. So as soon as Trump got inaugurated, they're like, hey, we're setting this thing up. We're going to do these little Q drops and shots at the White House on Air Force One, added credibility. And then later they come down like, hey, we want you to get involved. And I said, listen, my issue is just like Anonymous. You can have somebody that's good putting on a Guy Fawkes mask saying things, we're anonymous, but the general public thinks it's like a real thing, one big conglomerate. I said, how are you going to stop stuff and disinfo and then manipulating people thinking they're actually, part of this thing? It's very esoteric. It's very Gnostic. I said, I think it's going to go sideways, but I'll support the stuff you guys push that I think isn't bad. And then later, like, oh, you're right. 6 months later, they got taken away and too much disinfo. And we're not doing that anymore. Please don't tell anybody about it.
It's very esoteric. It's very Gnostic. Oh, yeah, dude. For sure, Alex. Full grasp over reality.
Did he say at the end of it that he was like, we got to take it away? Is he insinuating that Q got taken away from whoever he's referencing that created it?
Yeah, this has really been his narrative since 2018 when like his feud with Q started. It was like at first like him and like InfoWars correspondent Jerome Corsi were like all in on it. Jerome Corsi was like doing key codes and stuff. But then all of a sudden Q made this post that like pushed back on Corsi and InfoWars and like sort of implied they were like patriots, patriots.
Yeah.
But then his whole narrative was like, oh well, Q was good, but now it's been compromised.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that Owen Schroyer has been fired / maybe has quit?
I did.
But
there's
a huge beef brewing between him and Alex now, so that should be fun.
Of course, there is.
Fantastic. More page 6 slop for me to cover.
Everybody's fighting, dude. After you win, you turn on your brothers.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like there's still a bit of some bad blood between Alex Jones and Q. In his most recent rant, he actually blamed Q for some electoral losses.
It created so much exuberance in 2020 that Trump was invincible and trust the plan, and Hillary's been executed at Gitmo, and there's thousands held there that people didn't go out and vote because they thought we were invincible. And Roger quietly bemoaned the Q thing, saying Trump's probably going to lose because the landslide won't be big enough because of this Q-type crap. So, and Roger Stone's his top political advisor. He's the real deal.
I hate this world so much because while we're listening to this absolute slop, we're also watching the AI slop video where I believe it's Gaza rebuilt like by Elon Musk, who's throwing money into the air as children gather around him, and like the whole thing looks like the fucking Riviera. Like what? Why do we cover any of this, man?
Well, and also, if Alex Jones is telling the truth, then we're also unfortunately learning something about like how these these fucking operators, these political operators, were worried about Q or didn't like it or thought that it was going to be the downfall of the movement.
The thing is, what movement? Like, it's just a bunch of fucking crazy people playing like a game of yes and then once in a while, like the whole thing kind of collapses under its weight because all these people, they're not building communities, they're building customer bases. Like, these are all like products.
Yeah.
Although Jerome Corsi is definitely like a rotten old tomato. Like, you would not pick Jerome Corsi on that.
No, he's a tobacco.
No, yeah, I think Jones is like really kind of just triangulating Q's fan base because he was like, a lot of people were like, a lot of QAnon followers said like, oh, he posted Q again. This is him confirming Q. And Jones was arguing, it's like, no, Trump also posted him as the Pope. That doesn't mean that Trump's the Pope. And then he's just sort of like amplifying other things. And maybe Trump doesn't even have total control over the True Social account. He's trying to like discredit as much as possible without totally alienating some QAnon followers who no doubt listen to his show.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's even addressing it, but I think it speaks to the strength of QAnon, like that Alex Jones has to fucking address it, and kind of make a little kerfuffle about it. I mean, I thought QAnon was gone, Alex lives on. Alex lives on in infamy. He's out there in the public eye. Q hasn't posted in forever, right? QAnon's dead, right?
Yeah, you'd think, but boy, it's like it's part of what continues to amplify is that Trump on his True Social account just keeps posting Q shit, which no doubt rallies and emboldens the the scattered Q followers.
Yeah, the weed has long since been smoked, but the glass pipe is still resiny and blackened.
And we could never get a hit like this. They'd never pack us a bowl this fat. Like,
no.
We could never get like a Joe Biden tweeting like Mueller is coming, or something like that. That's why I say QAnon is so lucky in some ways that the guy who they believe is in charge or at least signaling to this, like, is signaling to it. There is some element of reality in their game that the president, even if he doesn't realize quite what he's doing, like, I don't know if he looks at that picture and goes, oh, there's a Q plus in it. Is that going to signal to the wrong people? I don't know. Maybe I go to a different meme than this one, but like, well, I don't know what I was trying to say. I had something somewhere there that was good.
I haven't had anything good yet so far on the episode, so that's pretty cool.
Now, one of the reasons that this particular one got so much attention is that it was a post that was also amplified by a high-level Russian official. Someone goes by the name Kirill Dmitriev, who is the President Vladimir Putin's investment envoy. He's apparently responsible for Russia's $10 billion sovereign wealth fund. So he posted this post by Trump and with the Q plus and everything. And then he said, President Trump reposted Q plus post.
Oh, boy.
When the QAnon Twitter account Shadow of Ezra posted a screenshot of Dmitriev's post, Dmitriev quote-tweeted then Shadow of Ezra's post and then added the message Q+, and then with a Russian flag and American flag, like shaking hands between.
So they're just like quote-tweeting each other over and over in sign of friendship?
Yeah, they're doing, they quote to each other, boosting each other. It's very fun for him.
Hey, maybe the Russians finally watched that Vice documentary and were like, hey, we should actually do this.
That would be ironic.
Yeah.
California Governor Gavin Newsom's Twitter account also got in on the fun. So they've been using their account recently to like troll and like kind of like imitate Trump's really unhinged social media style. For example, here's a post from the Governor Newsom press office account that was done as the same day as the Q plus post.
Because of the fact that Kid Rock is not in the best interests of our great state, I am giving serious consideration to taking away his residency. He is a threat to California's eardrums and should remain in the wonderful state of Michigan if they want him. God bless America. Gavin, middle initial, Newsom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just signs everything GCN.
GCN. Yeah, I get why, it's like when you're in the minority party, really, it's like it sucks not having such power as you think you deserve. You really resorted to making the other side feel bad. It's really the owning the libs kind of strategy.
Why not just fold both parties under Trump? Like, just let him run both.
Yeah.
He's clearly the only interesting guy. Everybody agrees.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, they want to, copy him. And
I'm ready for, like, God Emperor Trump. Yeah, I'm ready for Geodis, dude.
Yeah. So Gavin Newsom's account, also they did it like a straight up like duplicate copy of the QAnon meme that Trump posted, except that they use AI to swap out Trump for Newsom.
Wait, no. And he has the Q plus in his hand too?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it's funny, I saw some QAnon accounts were like, it's like, yeah, Gavin's like a secret white hat. It's like they're like folding him into the narrative.
Yeah, of course.
So stupid.
They're still having more fun than you. Like, even though that you think you're owning the QAnon people, they're still looking at this and being like, oh shit, fucking white hat. Like, let's go. Like, you're pretending that you believe in this kind of stuff. It like is no match for somebody who's really there.
No, the best way to deal with, schizophrenics is to encourage their fantasy and even start playing a role in it. If this guy actually experiences an Eddington, I wouldn't be mad.
Over the Labor Day weekend, people started speculating about Trump's health. And, the one hand, I will say, I think it's perfectly reasonable to make these kinds of speculations just on a general sense. He's literally the oldest president ever, and he's like based upon what we know about the history of like the White House, they would probably hide any physical or mental decline. But, at the same time, people started getting a little too into this theory. I feel like they let their hopes run away with them. They started going to strange baking territory.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair. It's like, everybody deserves, as an American, to have a part of every month where you wish your leader dead. Where you just fantasize, you just break away from reality and fantasize about the death of your leader.
Yeah, and the thing is
that's the last thing we have left.
Look, it's not that crazy far-fetched. Like, I think my grandpa was like 84, maybe, when he passed, and he didn't eat McDonald's like once a week, conservatively.
Like, do you really think, though, that he'll go out before Biden? Spiritually, it would feel so wrong.
Well, I think spiritually it would feel so right, but I think scientifically it would feel...
just like, it's awesome that we are looking at, like these two guys and just being like, when are they going to die? And then we're looking at most of Congress and we're like, when are they going to die? And we're looking at the Supreme Court and we're like, when are they going to die?
Just as our children will look up at us and ask, when are they going to die?
So true.
So part of this started when, like, in the middle of August, Trump, while, like, bragging about what he believes to be his diplomatic wins on Fox News, he made a strange comment about wanting to get into heaven.
I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons.
Dude, he's not even saying that, in my opinion. He's saying, like, I'm going to try to get into heaven, but, like, there's a long line and, like, there's more people that deserve it than me. Like, as in, like, I'm last in the queue for heaven, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think he's kind of saying, like, I've done horrible things, so not at the top of the list.
Listen, I'm a pedophile. I'll admit it. It's going to be hard to get it to heaven.
In context, he's talking about, like, the peace deals he claims he's negotiated. And, like, he's, like, saying, like, these are such good things. They're, like, enter heaven worthy. And so, on the one hand, it seems like just sort of like a kind of a weird aside joke. But people started, like, reading too much into it and thinking about, like, he has mortality on his mind because he's on the way out. And then people started noticing there was, like, some bruising on his hand and, like, went as far as speculating that was possibly, like, a symptom of, like, a serious, like, heart issue.
I mean, he had, like, insane pancake makeup that wasn't even tone matched, like, all down his hand. It looked insane. I get it.
It got worse because, like, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before the Labor Day weekend, his schedule became, like, strangely dark. Usually there's lots of stuff going on. All of a sudden, like, the printout of his schedule was blank. Photos showed Trump leaving the White House to visit one of his golf courses on August 30th, but these photos were grainy. And so internet users started combing through all available information to find clues about Trump's status. They turned to the Pentagon Pizza Index, and this is based on the theory that, like, whenever there's like a matter of like major national security happening, the fast food places around the Pentagon get busy to accommodate all the DoD employees who are like working extra hours. I'm not sure how accurate or how tested this theory is, but this is what people believe. But they were using this to kind of like speculate whether or not there's actually something serious happening around Trump's health.
That's got to be the most American thing I've ever heard. It's like start to make calculations based on fast food sales. Yeah.
To me, this is the most convincing evidence that it might have actually happened. The Pentagon Pizza Index is at DEFCON level 2, with Pizzato's Pizza having a 303% spike. Now, I know we're all just waiting to see if we get confirmation that it actually happened so we can have a lovely holiday weekend. But so for me, this is the most convincing evidence we have so far, apart from the fact that he hasn't been seen since Tuesday.
And then people got really excited when they found out like the roads outside of Walter Reed Hospital were closed, and they hoped that this might indicate that Trump was like somewhere inside the medical facility.
So I have confirmed that there are road closures around Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. This is something that has been trending on Twitter. I want to point out that this could very well be closures that have existed for a while. Here you can see more roads that are around the facility. As you know, this was the place that Trump spent when he was very deathly ill with COVID.
Good day, sir. I'm just a simple peasant in Oblivion or Morrowind. I'm just a strangely shaped man. Wouldst thou quest with me?
But I am also an internet journalist bringing you potentially breaking news. I'm not sure. It might mean something else, but it could mean that the president himself has died, my lord.
I bring you tidings.
So even the release photo didn't really quash the rumors, because they did this weird thing where they took the kind of grainy photo. It seems like there's some artifacts on it that make it not great. And then they enhanced it with AI, and they commented on how the AI augmented image didn't look like him.
A new photo of Donald Trump taken by a photographer was just released to the public, and seriously, people are theorizing that he has undergone some sort of massive health scare, specifically a stroke, because if you look at the enhanced photo, someone was able to enhance it on the internet, and like his facial features like do not look like him whatsoever. Like, this is the photo zoomed in, and I really want your guys' thoughts on this. I mean, this like literally looks as if someone is wearing prosthetics.
Oh, dude,
we're here. We're baking.
They're literally baking a melted face. It's a melted AI created face. Looks like a really poorly put together Star Trek alien.
Yeah, it's just the AI did a bad job reconstructing his face, because it's just guessing. It's just filling in the gaps with like, speculation and guesses. And you're taking these speculations and guesses and saying, boy, this doesn't look right. Of course it doesn't look right. It's not a real photo. It's an AI imagination.
This is like when my mom told me that I sounded like an idiot because she read Siri's transcription of a voicemail that I had left her and not listened to the actual voicemail itself, Also, these people, you need to spend more time in Hollywood, or Los Angeles at least, because you run into a lot of these folks where they look okay from afar, older people especially, and if they've been in the business, they're fine from afar, but the closer you get, the more horrid their face, and you realize, oh my God, it's a wig, it's this, it's that, it's another thing. The closer you get to some of these creatures like Donald Trump, who have spent most of their lives in reality television, it's you do think that you're looking at something, completely devoid of humanity.
So it got really bad. Some people were earnestly speculating that Trump had been replaced with a body double.
It's just QAnon speedrun again.
So the president hadn't been seen in days, and then all of a sudden pops up in some grainy, faraway picture at the White House yesterday. And then there's another one that's just been released today, supposed to be his second day going out to go golf. And it shows him in a black coat, hat, walking to his deal, right? What if that's his body double? Anybody thought about that? Because that man lives in 8K. Loves walking up, talking to the cameras, the press, especially when there's anything going on about him. So they're not telling us something. Something is not right with this president, and everybody's known it and seen it for a long time.
Yes. Retcon it too. We've seen it for a long time. Actually, I knew he was a reptilian like last May.
Yeah, I mean, people are, it's like they went off into La La Land, you know? They let their fondest hopes guide them to very strange places. But a lot of that speculation was squashed on Tuesday when Trump appeared for an announcement in which he appeared relatively lucid.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him.
All of that energy and like hope, all for naught. I mean, I get it. Again, he's very old. It's like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was announced that he had died tomorrow.
Sure.
But man, once you're like looking at road closures and like pizza place activity, I feel like you've gone a little off the deep end.
This was a big disappointment for a lot of people online. I saw people still trying to zoom in on his hands to see if there was anything more decipherable about this unexpected press conference. But yeah, and in the replies to people saying, oh, I guess he is alive after all, there was a lot of upset people, and you see it's interesting to watch the pushback against reality start to just become more and more popular. Yeah. I get it. I'm with you, Travis. I would not be surprised in the least, if there was some announcement tomorrow that he had died.
This, to me, is just proof that we have an entire country of people who cannot get offline for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy some camping. Leave your phone at home.
Yeah. Lots of unproductive hours. There's also a major development in the saga of Romana Didulo. So fans of the show may remember the strange case of the cult around her. So Romana Didulo is a woman who, she borrowed concepts from QAnon, the sovereign citizen movement, and theosophy to cultivate a group around her who believes that she is like the secret queen of Canada. She claims to have received recognition from Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump on this, and that she has communed with aliens. She claims to be a divine being sent to Earth to fulfill a spiritual mission. So she and 17 other people, were arrested in southwestern Saskatchewan in a raid by the RCMP. So for the last 2 years or so, her cult has been living in the tiny village of Richmond in Saskatchewan. So after being forced out of another town, Didulo and a core group of followers moved into a decommissioned school in Richmond. They set up what they called a Kingdom of Canada compound.
I mean, let's be honest. As far as cults go, this is the people's compound, man. Respect to my working class cultists.
So local officials and residents quickly objected to her presence there, understandably. It got worse when the group started exhibiting kind of their targeted individual and sovereign citizen qualities by accusing the town leadership of imaginary crimes. So here's from a report on a threatening note made by the group.
The note originally appeared on the social media app Telegram on Sunday on channels associated with Didulo. It accuses the leadership of Richmond of bullying and stalking. Failure to, quote, cease and desist from their, quote, immoral activities could result in them being found guilty of treason, the note says. Quote, you will face publicly broadcast executions upon yourselves and undeserved devastation upon your children, grandchildren, and families. Your future is in your hands. Oh my God, this is so awesome, man.
No, this is a bad element in town, I have to say.
They really fucked themselves, man. You can't be putting this shit in writing, bro. you gotta whisper this to them. You gotta whisper it to them, and then you gaslight them when they try to, say that it happened. I could run this cult so much better than her.
The Canadian publication The Walrus described the escalating tensions between the cult and the residents of the small town.
Almost overnight, many parents no longer felt safe bringing their children to the playground next to the school, partly alarmed about Didulo's followers filming them without consent. Residents have been overcome with a fear they never expected when growing up in or moving to such a quaint place. Quote, I hate that this cult in our village is now a deterrent for me, a resident says. For the first time, she's thought of moving away. Quote, and that breaks my heart. Anger and frustration in town have been boiling ever since. One person threatened to burn the school down with everyone inside it. A kind of madness has washed over the town, with people who otherwise led quiet lives being brought to the edge. One person told me they'd endure physical violence, even take a bullet if necessary, in order for the RCMP to lay charges against Didulo or her followers. These threats, and others like them, sincere or bluster, have shocked some residents. This is awesome. They're just insulting each other back and forth like horribly, and like basically it's escalated to like full on like I will kill you threats on both sides.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, this is a nightmarish. I mean, this is a movie waiting to be written. Like such a fucking good one. And cuz it's like it's like a Christopher Guest movie. Like the cult is kind of incompetent and it's just out to lunch, and the residents are just increasingly getting furious at these people and unable to hide that they've been living with rage inside their souls as well.
In the moments before her arrest, Romana Didulo was seen on a live stream telling her followers to cooperate with the police because, hey, this might be all part of a white hat operation.
That's like the one good thing she does.
As I said, the corporation police are outside. And they're saying that put your hands up. So outside, put your hands up, and nothing will happen. They said so. And I also said that to the team, and you probably heard, not to resist and not to cooperate, as this might be a white hat operation to safeguard the Queen and the entire team. However, these days you don't know who's the white hat, who's not the white hat. During this operation.
I love that she's like, I better build in and out just in case like these guys like aren't white hats and they're not helpful and they do throw us all in jail.
I love her delivering this like in that kind of middle manager like patter. You know, she's like, well, yeah, we're going to be arrested by the RCMP, but they might actually secretly be spies working for the good side of the evil war between, you know, like the clash of realities. But what she's saying is sensible. Just put your hands up.
Yeah.
And walk out. Just put your hands up and walk out.
Yeah. I'm certainly glad the incident ended as peacefully as it did.
Yes, this is a good queen. She could have said, you know, fight till the death.
I bet like half of the 17 people have already for months now been taking notes at night, like for the book that they're going to write about this. Like, I feel like half of her people probably are already plotting their exit. Like the drama that came out of her camp, you know, a couple years ago, I think it was really toxic. Like it's not a good situation.
Yeah.
A search warrant in this arrest was granted on the basis that someone inside the compound had a gun. And so far, as this happened hours before we were recording, police said that 4 replica handguns were found. So as of this recording, no charges yet have been laid, and the interviews and evidence collection is ongoing. So, I mean, I think that, I'm really interested to see, like, if this does do in the cult, which has been going on for years, moving from location to location in Canada, somehow still has a core group of followers who listen to her and sometimes like stop paying their mortgage, stop paying their like utility bills because they've been told the Queen is taking care of it. And then, of course, that ends as disastrously as you want. I wonder if this will be the end of the cult or the beginning, you know? Well, I don't know. We'll find out. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna follow this case because it'll be interesting to see what charges come out of this.
I do like the 4 replica handguns. Just, that's it. That's what they would find.
Yeah.
I kind of love them. You know, respect to Didulo. Like, yes, she has created a very, very toxic polycule. But on the other hand, she's kind of a softer version. If you're going to be joining a cult, which a lot of these people probably were just looking for the first thing, you know, to come along to, escape and work for the circus or whatever, run away with the circus. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see like how this all falls out because it's a softer, kinder cult. I'll just say that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the telling people to stop paying their bills because everything's going to be fine, and then because that's consequential.
Oh yeah, no. Like, but that's just an IQ test,
or making people listen to like parodies of the disco hit Rasputin over and over again.
Yeah,
that's Yeah.
If you're one tiny Filipina lady, like who speaks in like middle management patter away from like not paying your bills, breaking away from reality, I'm going to tell you something. I think your path was already spoken for.
This is like the kind of cult that I would start, right? Where like some of the more like violent and like disturbing elements are like a little bit more for pretend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right, like, yeah, we're really a cult, but like we've got a couple of airsoft guns.
Yeah, it is interesting like how different she reacted in the moment when she was actually subjected to a police raid. Usually she's like, we will execute you.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, she was predicting death amongst everyone. You will be executed for crimes against humanity. But like once it comes down to it, it's like, all right, let's just cooperate. Maybe this is a white hat operation. We'll all be fine.
This could be like a Canadian thing too, that their cults are just a little bit softer, a little, less real guns, and they put their hands up promptly, that sort of thing, polite.
I don't know. I don't trust Americans, but I do trust Romana Didulo, my queen.
Donald Trump regained consciousness in between the revolving doors of a shitty roadside motel. The bright red sign outside read, Motel 666. The last thing the former president remembered was laying snug in his bed, playing a tiny slot machine game on his phone, and he had just lost his last credit. And now, he was somewhere totally different. His stomach was in knots. The president reached down to clutch his tummy, only to find that it wasn't there.
This is kink. You are finally writing /fic.
Cool. I always stumble upon great stuff like this. As the revolving door continued to rotate slowly, it would slice the president in half, drag his legs and butt in a small circle, and then realign them with his top section every 30 seconds or so. It was a terrible design flaw, Trump thought to himself as he waited for his bottom half to come back around. Once it did, he dislodged himself from the revolving doors and tumbled into a dingy hotel lobby waiting room, packed with people. There was only one receptionist who was explaining to a charred skeleton that Priceline's credit card was continuing to be declined. It was the worst lobby Trump had ever seen, worse than the Holiday Inn, he thought. As Trump scanned the long line of bewildered guests, he saw a couple familiar faces, wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan and TV personality Roseanne. The echoey voice blared out over a PA system.
Now serving guest number 420.
Trump looked down at his right hand. Clutched between his wrinkled, bruised fingers was a ticket with a number printed on it. It read, 17,170. Everyone around him was farting. It was horrible. Trump, too, felt compelled to fart deeply into his pants.
What the fuck?
Well, look who it fucking is. An instantly recognizable voice rang out from the crowd. Trump swiveled to see a handsome middle-aged man with short gray hair bounding through the crowd towards him. Trump softened, and for the first time since he arrived to this place, he felt a small twinge of relief. It was his very best friend, Jeff Epstein. You fucking bitch, I thought you'd never come. Epstein swung his arm around Trump, putting him in somewhat of an uncomfortable headlock. I'll take you downstairs and you can meet some of the older guys. Epstein led Trump through an emergency exit towards the rear of the lobby. They walked across the street to a sagging old fraternity house. A handful of terrifying monsters quietly smoking cigarettes were posted up outside. Schnell dazu, ich festmusst. One of them grumbled. Epstein nodded coolly at the demon. What's up? This is Don, one of my buddies from when I was alive. Donald Trump reached out and politely shook the leathery hands of Pazuzu and Moloch, two of the more senior bros, before being ushered inside of the fraternity. The moment he stepped inside the house, Donald Trump was bombarded with total debauchery. Men, women, and children of all ages were crying out in agony from sunrise to sunset as the party raged on. Warm kegs filled to the brim with a never-ending supply of skunky Brewsters, sprayed suds, drenching Trump's jammies, making it look like he had pissed himself. A couple of the brothers pointed and laughed. Trump recognized one of them as Vlad the Impaler. He was carrying a large spear around the bar area, plunging it into partygoers' asses and then driving it into the ground, allowing his victims to hang there while people took pictures. He caught Trump staring at him and pointed in Donald's direction as if to say, "You're next." But before Trump could protest, Epstein had him by the arm and whisked him down a narrow flight of carpeted steps into the fraternity basement. The vibes were much different down here. It was a dark, musty place that reeked of stale alcohol and marijuana smoke. The basement was lined with ratty couches, a handful of blacklights, and some Megadeth posters. Off to the sides were doorways to dark rooms lined with bunk beds and piles of clothes. Trump immediately felt uncomfortable. These were the older brothers, the founders even, dark drunks who took the frat very seriously. They were passing around a massive bong filled with ice and blood. In its bowl, a huge smoldering nugget of limbs and torsos. As one of the guys sparked the bowl, the room lit up, and Trump was finally able to make out the faces of the brothers. Almost every U.S. president and Adolf Hitler were huddled in a dank-ass session, their faces greened out and ghoulish as they scooped more bodies out of the pile and crumbled them up into small pieces over the large glass bowl.
You can add in the U.S. presidents that you, like, for some reason think won't be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Trump began to inch slowly back towards the basement steps, but Epstein grabbed him tightly by the shoulder and led him towards the circle. "Come on, dude, I'll introduce you," he said. Even Epstein seemed a little nervous around these guys. They had been stoned for centuries, putting out roaches on their tongues and telling women they were, quote, not allowed to hit the 5-footer. Epstein cleared his throat. "Dudes, this is my friend Donald. I think he'd be a good fit for the house." Andrew Jackson looked up from a small metal tray where he was rolling a gigantic blunt and eyed Trump up and down. "Do you burn?" Trump was confused. This must be some kind of Cali lingo he was unfamiliar with. He stammered, trying to think of an answer that wouldn't make him look like a complete poser. Jackson and another guy looked at each other and chuckled. "It means like, do you smoke?" He raised the finished blunt. Bloody arms and legs were hanging out of the end of the cone, packed to the fucking brim. Trump was nervous as hell. He had, of course, partaken before, but it was for sure weak mids that probably paled in comparison to the gas currently being inhaled by the older fraternity brothers. Nevertheless, he nodded, and he and Epstein sat down cross-legged style on the outer rim of the rotation. Trump waited anxiously as the bong began to make its way towards him and Jeff. As he looked around the circle, he noticed that many of the U.S. presidents were dressed like he was, as they too had passed away, warm in their jammies.
Here we go. He's losing it. He made himself laugh.
No, it's actually like a comment on like our presidents and how like they always die warm in their beds, but you know the people who are victims of their actions, die in bloody piles of rubble. Anyways, Trump reached out to take the water pipe from George Washington, but Washington pulled his arm back slightly. "Did you bring any to match?" he asked. "Because in this house we match bowls."
Okay, we got our two Cali boys here are laughing at this. Like, clearly, I sense a spark of recognition even in Travis. Travis recognized that, and it was a special moment.
Trump felt deeply embarrassed. He had flubbed the proper etiquette with the guys. He searched his pockets futilely for a plastic bag he knew wasn't there. Epstein jumped in. "Dude, fucking hold on. I got you, dude." Epstein reached into his pocket and pulled out a small bag filled with a couple loose grams of body parts, mostly dry shake. He packed a bowl and handed the bong to Trump. The pipe was so tall, Trump's arms couldn't really reach the bowl with the lighter. Harry Truman got down on one knee and lit it for him. Whoosh! Trump reeled backwards, disappearing into a cloud of thick white smoke. His throat was on fire. Truman had fucking torched it. "Snap it! Snap it!" The guys were chanting.
Wow, I've smoked a lot of weed my whole life, and I am not familiar with this. This is Jake's own nightmarish reality growing up.
"Snap it, snap it," the guys were chanting. Epstein forced the bong to Trump's lips. Truman sparked the lighter again, and a plume of violence and gore seeped deeply into Donald Trump's lungs, forcing him to sputter and cough. He hacked so hard he blew out a large nugget of smoldering carnage, which landed on the carpet and began to burn a small hole. The guys howled in laughter. "Oh, Funky Van Buren the bull!" one of them yelled. The guys all piled on Martin Van Buren, who covered his head playfully as the guys roughhoused. Trump felt humiliated. He staggered up off the hot couch. His head was reeling. The fraternity brothers' faces appeared to be melting off of their skulls. Trump stumbled up the basement steps as Epstein called out after him. Trump shuffled nervously through the upstairs party, glancing over his shoulder as he hurried towards the front door. Right as he stepped outside, he felt a strong, leathery hand grab hold of him. It was Moloch, one of the brothers Trump had met earlier in the evening.
"Sorry, man. Nothing personal, but we don't really think it's the right fit. Probably not going to work out this time."
The lights on the street flickered as Trump ran back towards the motel. He burst through the revolving door and muscled his way through the line to the receptionist's kiosk. Before anyone could stop him, he grabbed the penthouse key off of the rack behind the counter and scrambled down a packed hallway towards the bank of elevators. Trump attempted to catch his breath as the elevator lurched downward, delving deeper and deeper into the depths of the motel. Something was seriously wrong here, he thought to himself. Epstein, the rundown motel, none of it made sense. Like some horrible dream from which Trump couldn't wake. He reached the penthouse floor, dim and dark, with only a handful of doors. Trump reached the number on the key, 1717. He found the room and inserted the key into the lock. Trump opened his eyes. He blinked a couple times. He was back in his bedroom in the White House. The chaos from only minutes before faded away into nothingness, and Trump began to accept this new but familiar reality. The White House master suite looked different than he remembered. There was a lot less gold, and a lot more signed copies of Hillbilly Elegy propped up on the mantels and shelves. Trump looked to his left. Instead of the usual empty spot he was used to, a woman was lying there, sleeping soundly. "Did you say something, JD?" she whispered softly. Trump looked down in horror to discover that the naked body of J.D. Vance was inside of him, or rather, he was inside of them.
Dude.
He was dead. Transparent. A ghost. This made Trump sad.
What's wrong with you?
Although he had been returned right to his bed where he had left it, it was clear that some time had passed. How long had Trump been gone in the spirit world? Unclear. But one thing was clear. He refused to be a stranger in his own house. And he certainly hadn't fought for a $200 million ballroom so some other schmuck could enjoy it. No, Trump's mission was clear. He would have to now haunt the White House. To be continued.
He's finally done it, folks. He's written Ghostbusters. He's launching it. This is like the origin story.
No.
I also enjoy the fact that you tried to explain it when very clearly you were thinking of clipping. You were like, he was clipping into J.D. Vance.
Exactly.
But you knew you couldn't. You can't just say that to normal people. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He could see behind the backs of J.D. Vance's teeth and large white eyeballs floating.
Magnificent stuff, truly. And as usual, my favorite Jake stories are the ones that are secretly just about a thing that you went through that was horrible. So perfectly done, my friend.
I've already got the sequel ready. It's going to be Trump trying to scare J.D. Vance in his... I was kind of trying to rip off Beetlejuice as well, but I sort of went off the rails. But the sequel is going to be, him haunting the White House, and then the threequel, the third installment, will be the Ghostbusters coming to the White House to get rid of him.
See, kids, this is how Hollywood works. You think in franchises.
Yeah, absolutely. It's time for another franchise. We really haven't had one since the Marjorie Taylor Greene Alien franchise during the live shows.
That's true.
So
that's true, and the epic odyssey, of course, of Florida Flynn.
Yeah, Florida Flynn. Obviously, we can't really do any more Florida Flynn stuff until Michael Flynn does something interesting. He's kind of boring right now, but
Yeah. Highly recommended for new listeners. If you're not familiar with Jake's stories, is the entire Flynn saga. I believe we put it all. We put it all in one single episode for Christmas. I think a few years ago.
That's right. That's right. We
did. What? I'll find the link and I'll put it in the description just if people want to check it out.
There's also somebody else had made a spreadsheet of all of the Jake stories. I mean, can't believe we did 2 back-to-back Jake stories. Yeah. I'm feeling ambitious, I guess.
No, we're classic mode. Yeah, I think we're classic mode.
Yeah, we're World of Warcraft classic. Cataclysma Classica.
Liv wrote to me. She's like, "Please, can I attend the recording?" And I was like, "No,
Jesus,
we're going classic mode. Get out of here, Liv. Get out of here.
Doing?
We're classic mode right now."
Yeah.
What am I doing? I am thanking the listener for listening to another episode of the QA podcast and reminding the freaking freeloaders out there to go to patreon.com/QAA and become beloved subscribers for $5 a month and get a whole second episode for each one of these main episodes. We also would love it if you went to cursemedia.net if you haven't already. Thank you so much to all the people who have already signed up. It's really cool to see support for this. But if you haven't yet, cursemedia.net, you'll get access to our miniseries network with 3 miniseries in the first year. We're about to publish some follow-up stuff to Science in Transition on that feed. But yeah, everything's really well organized and you can get access to all of our past miniseries in a way more orderly fashion there. So once again, that's cursedmedia.net.
Net listener.
Good job.
Until next week, may the deep
Did
dish
you just call
bless
them
you.
Nissner?
Nissner. Until next week, may the neep nish bless you and neep you.
We have auto-queued content based on your preferences.
And I started getting this sent to me this morning over and over and over and over again. And for radio listeners, it's Trump in his classic navy blue suit with the white shirt and red tie, standing in front of a world. And you can see it was fan-made. That's what he posts a lot of on his Truth Social account. And in his left hand is Q+. Now, Q+ has been reported since they created the Q thing in 2017 as the leader of Q, the Q god, reported to be Trump himself. Now, again, a fan made this spiritual street fighter. Trump did not make this. I can tell you what the Q thing is. I've told you what it is. And there was a big debate on whether it was going to be successful or not. The decision was made that it was not successful about a year in. And that's because it's too easy for other people to then misrepresent what Q was when the White House, some people in the White House had the idea for it. And they tried to recruit me into it, and I made the obvious point at my house meeting with them in 2017 that it's like Anonymous. When you just have somebody wearing a Guy Fawkes mask and a black hood, and then they go, oh, this represents Anonymous, like it's this magic army, and then it could be anybody. Some of the messages are good groups, some of the messages are bad groups. And that was my issue with it, and when I said, I don't think this is a good idea. Now, from what I was told, and I've never even asked Trump about this, I'll ask him sometime. He didn't know about it, but it was some senior people, and I know because they told me about it. And then it created this whole other cottage industry of delusion and really fake news.